we think it's working. Hey everybody, Ben and Mary here, weekly live, 4 o'clock. New selfie stick. Is it working? Who's on here?
Bi-weekly now, so
Bi-weekly, did I say weekly?
Yeah.
Bi-weekly. 4 people, my mother on there first. Hello mama. Kayla, can we get a sound check, please? Nikki, Mike, how are you guys? It's not working. Working. That's a mixed signal.
Is the sound good?
Hello. So we have one person that says sound is good. All right.
Okay, all right.
All right, I'm gonna go with mom. Sound is great. All right.
Okay,
all
good.
right. All right.
Cool.
So today's live. Do you wanna introduce?
So we had a couple of weeks off because Ben and I kind of got back to traveling for work and we were crazy. But we're going to be reconvening with Facebook Lives twice a month, every other week. And it's going to be on Wednesdays at 4 o'clock instead of Thursdays at 4 o'clock. So we're changing things up just a little bit. Today...
Much better than the factory. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right.
Today, we're going to talk about HOA and permitting in terms of swim spas.
All right.
So we've got some questions that we got ahead of time, which we'll talk about, and Ben's going to give lots of information about dealing with HOA and permits. So you can also obviously post your questions as well. And this is me not knowing what to do with my hands to keep them dry. So.
Yeah, you have to keep your hands dry when you do this. All right, it's not as easy as it looks.
Obviously.
All right, so we have a new selfie stick, so we're kind of in a weird spot there, and we're not sure how it works. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna stand this up. Bear with me, all right? Sorry for the close-up of my face. And we're gonna flare these bottoms out. Our new selfie stick also has a handy dandy bipod or tripod built in. All right, bear with me.
It's still just us in this warehouse,
yes.
So it's very live in case anybody is wondering.
So yeah, this is real. So all right, so this is for Susan. We're doing this trouble. Susan, this is all for you. If I drop my phone in the water, I'm sending you the bill directly, okay? So hello from Philly. We got people everywhere. All right, we have 100 people on here already. This is amazing. All right, and that's actually kind of reflective of what's going on in our industry right now. So today I have to keep my hands dry. So it's not that I'm just like, we're not cold. The water's actually warm and very nice. So today we're going to talk about, first thing I want to do is give a little update on the industry and master spas in particular. Most of you know, if you've tuned in before, Master Spas, we're the largest manufacturer in the world of swim spas. We're kicking butt. We're really good at this. Look at the competition is on here. So you know what? We've actually seen videos from some competitors where they clearly were watching what we were doing. No higher form of what's the
Flattery.
Flattery. No higher form of flattery than that. So, but one thing they don't have, Ben and Mary. All right, so today we're going to talk about the less exciting side of swim spas. And these are the questions that we get over and over again. And we know that we're always going to be working with our clients oh, I'm putting my hands in the water, I can't stand it. So I know that we're going to be always working with customers and clients to go through the HOAs, go through the permitting process and the setbacks and all that stuff. And I'm going to go over that today. And it's definitely not exciting, but it's a mandatory part of us, especially with the swim spas. You don't really deal with it with hot tubs. All right, so anyway, industry, completely bombed, overwhelmed, nuts, order volume across the board, all manufacturers, highest volume ever. All right, so Master Spas, 100% built in the US, American muscle. We are definitely uniquely situated and ready to deal with this more than most, and we can also produce way more swim spas than everyone else can. Mike Peters, how are you guys? Awesome to see you. So Basically, right now we are at about 90 days plus on a swim spa, but that is an accurate time frame. We are hearing some manufacturers talk about not seeing new product on the ground anytime, anything ordered until 2021. 18 weeks, 6 months, we're seeing some really crazy numbers, okay? And right now we are at 90, 100 days, something like that on a swim spa, okay? So we are definitely on top of things.
And if you're thinking of a swim spa, like, contact your dealer ASAP, because that time frame kind of keeps getting longer as more and more people are ordering.
Right.
And it's just been
literally each week the lead time goes up because the order volume is just insane. Okay.
We're getting a lot of people. I know I've gotten several calls for people who have just canceled their vacations and they're going to be stuck home all summer, and thinking the rest of the year they just really want to make that backyard the safe haven where they enjoy and have fun with their family. So it's just really been crazy for us.
Right. It really
in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
So a frantic, good, also hectic way. So anyway, so I have my little cheat sheet over there. So what I did was I have a whiteboard over here that we're going to need, because I'm going to actually make some illustrations on a few things. What kind of electric do you need to run this? 50 amps, 240. That's an easy one. I'll take that right now. So basically, we're going to talk about all the permitting. People always ask, do you need a permit for a swim spa? Okay, so a couple of things I want to talk about. First thing, a swim spa by Master Spas in particular, this is designated a portable unit. This is a portable spa. So what people often do is they say, well, I'm going to find out, I want to do this right. I'm going to go downtown and I'm going to find out if I need a permit. And they walk in there and they say, hey, I'm in the market for a pool or a swim spa. And that's where things go south. As soon as you make that slip and you call it a pool, they immediately put you into pool rules, okay? So the pool rules it's like getting stuck in the mud in a car with rear wheel drive in 1978. Yeah. So you're not going anywhere fast.
Do not use the P word.
Do not use the P word when you're talking with them. Use the spa word. This is a portable spa, okay? Now, here's the thing. Master Spas, we have all sorts of tools for our dealers and our sales staff to work with as far as documentation of that. Okay, so if you get with someone, if you order a swim spa online, you're getting no support. And when your town says you can't put it in and they have no idea how to help you get this done, things get really, really challenging. Okay, so today we're going to talk about setbacks. I made a list. Lot coverage, not exciting. UL listing, portable, no plumbing, all that stuff, and UL listing for the cover. These are all things that are incredibly important. So what I want to do is, I'm going to bring that down. All right. Got somebody here on here looking for parts in the UK. You came to the wrong place, sir. All right. So I'm going to swing this around and hand it to Mary, and we're going to go to the drawing board, literally. All right. There's Ben Hoffman. Come here, Mary.
I'm here.
You got to hold that. Yeah. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we are actually going to define setbacks. All right. Now I have to dry my hands. Hold up. Bear with us. All right. So.
Oh, someone just asked if we are in a standard or a deep. We are in the Challenger 15 Deep Swim Spa.
All right. I know I'm going to lose that. All right. So here's the house.
I'm going to back up a little bit so we can see.
That?
Yep.
Here's the house. Here's the yard. This is not to scale. Now setbacks, number one on the list. Can you see all that? You think they can see it? You may need to get closer. This is the property line right here. Okay? This is the house. You can't put anything inside the setbacks. So every town has zoning, and this is what your setbacks look like. Okay? It's an imaginary line. You could have 5 foot set. Can you see my face?
No.
Okay.
But I'm trying to get everything else. And people, I'm like on my tippy toes so that this selfie stick is not under the water.
Susan,
so
this is for you.
I apologize if I'm not, if you're getting seasick.
This is setbacks. You can have 5 foot, 10, 15, 20, whatever. You can't put a swim spot or anything, a shed or any of that stuff inside your setbacks. You are not allowed. So here's the thing. As long as you are, can you see me?
Yes.
No, you can see me. As long as you are inside your setbacks, it's actually very difficult for the town to tell you that you can't put something here. But then you come up with the next term, see it?
Yep.
Lot coverage. What lot coverage is a percentage of your yard, including the setbacks. You can only have grass or cement on, or you can only have cement on so much. Now here's where it gets funny. I've seen towns where anything that's cement, like a cement slab, it actually takes up a percentage of your lot coverage. That's most normal everywhere. Some places, pavers, like paver patio, does actually, they do consider that the same as cement, and it actually will overflow that lot coverage, allowance. Some places, pavers are okay, and they don't actually have anything to do with that. So then you have easy pads, you have pavers, or you have cement, or you have a deck. So all those things, it's different in every single town, okay? Now it's impossible. So for example, a dealership that we're often, down at is East Coast Spas. His territory is massive. It's all of New Jersey, a bunch of Pennsylvania, a bunch of New York, Westchester County, which is notoriously difficult to deal with, Connecticut, all these hot spots for lots of rules and lots of control and lots of taxes. So every single town is different. So it's impossible for anyone to know every single rule. So this is where if you can do some homework up front on your setbacks, because even in your town, your zoning will dictate your setbacks, okay? And your lot coverage. Now, once in a while, we'll have a realtor come in and they know that stuff, and they know that they're within or not within their setbacks, and they know their lot coverage, and they know they're good. And then certain towns where they know that they're maxed out on their lot coverage, but pavers are allowed, so they might do something with pavers instead of, say, a cement slab, whether it's a hot tub or a swim spa. So that's the part where you need to have that stuff, okay? That's where you need to come to us with that information, because we can help from there. Now, UL listing. When you purchase your swim spa, and most people, as a general rule of thumb, let's say this was your house and you had 15-foot setbacks, and you had paver patio right here, and you wanted to put the swim spa right here. The only concern this person would have would be the lot coverage. They're not going to have the setback, because they know they're not going wider than the house, and the house is obviously not in the setbacks, and they're nowhere near the back of the lot. So this one there, we know that they're not going to have any concern with the setbacks. The only possible concern is going to be lot coverage. You know what I forgot to write? HOA. Now, HOA is a whole different thing. So that person needs to know lot coverage. Now, portable, when you get to portable, these swim spas are a portable device. It's a portable spot. It's not a permanent installation. There's no plumbing that exits the cabinets. So many times you're going to go down to the office and they're not going to know what you're talking about. They're going to say, what size is it? You're going to say it's 15 by 8. They go, you're a pool. And then the pool rule lists anything above 24 inches is legally a pool. Well, that means every portable hot tub on earth that's higher than 24 inches, which is virtually all of them, is considered a pool, but that's not the case. We know that. So for the portable thing, when you start going through this process, your town is going to give you a hard time because they don't know any better. They've never seen these before. They don't really know what they're doing, and we're expecting this town employee to actually be good at their jobs. And I don't mean to go negative here, but they're often not, but they think they are, and that's the worst case scenario. So it's up to you, whoever you're working with at dealership, to guide you through this process. And this is the part that nobody knows. Everyone thinks that Mary and I are magicians because we've walked, hundreds and hundreds of people through this. I've dealt with inspectors. I've dealt with, insurance companies. I've dealt with HOAs with people.
You've had some crazy calls lately.
Crazy calls, and lately because we're doing more swim spas than ever. But it's just crazy So now the portable thing, as soon as they think you're a pool, but then they learn, this is what clicks in the inspector's mind. So remember this tip. As soon as they understand that there are no plumbing, there's no plumbing or pipes that exit the cabinet anywhere, it's all internal, then it clicks in their head that it's just a big hot tub. Okay? So no plumbing exiting, that's the key. And we have discovered through lots of working with these people that they don't understand until they understand that. So even if you say, no, it's portable, they still don't get it. But when you say there's no plumbing exiting, that's where they say, oh, wait a second, this is not a pool, this is something different. And then you fall into the normal rules that you should be in. Okay, so that's that's why the portable designation is very important. All right, so no plumbing exits the cabinet. So if you go to the town and you know you're within your setbacks, you know your lot coverage, you know that you're a portable and there's no plumbing exits, you're going to shorten the process of getting this pushed through and them harassing you. All right, because all they really want is some of your money, and they want to make sure that you're not putting a gigantic swim spa next to the front mailbox. Okay? UL listing. Master spas, UL listed. What that means is all of our swim spas have been tested and they have been proven to be safe. You're not going to get zapped by power in there. None of that stuff's going to happen. That's important. Some towns, some places are going to require that UL listing, and we actually have it. We have it for every model that we have. Okay, and it's not a hoax. So this is my concern, and we've seen this industry has some crazy stuff. If you go online, hey, I want a swim spa, swim spa, look at me, I'm researching, I'm a pro. And then you come up with some company and they sell you a swim spa online. Oh, and they say, oh yeah, it's a UL listed safety product, you're good to go. They're gonna send you that designation. What if it's not real? I mean, who knows? What about the cover? So that cover, the cover that we use, I don't have it, I actually took it all the way off. Our cover has actually been tested for the weight limit, for the safety. It's got 8 locks. This swim spa has 8 locks on the cover. That's significant. Now, Master Spas manufactures the Michael Phelps Swim Spa with that name on it. So I ask you this, do you think that they actually went through the process of having that stuff tested and it's legitimate?
Yes.
I'll bet they did. Okay? Using a name like that, I'm sure. So UL listing for cover, the safety cover. All that stuff is documented. We have that documentation. And then my last fear is if you're dealing with a company who doesn't have that or just simply copied ours and it's not legit and something ever happens, are they responsible or are you responsible? Ultimately, we're responsible for our own actions. All right? So that's the boring part, less exciting part of swim spa installation. Okay? Aside from cement versus pavers versus easy pads, versus this. These are the rules that you're going to have to deal with in certain places. Now, we go to some places where they call the town's like, oh yeah, it's a hot tub. Do it. We don't care. Pull a permit for the wire and you're done. Okay, that's it. You're done. They don't care what. They don't even care if you pour a slab. So you've got all this huge span of possibilities. All right. Last is HOA. HOA is a whole different animal. All right. Is that thing crooked in there? It looks crooked.
I don't know.
She's not tall enough to see it. So on the HOA, we can actually flip this around. Come in.
Okay.
I'll give you a break. Setbacks, my beautiful setback drawing. All right. Extending this back. Actually, we can just go back to the tripod. Okay. What do you think? All right, bear with us.
Now that you're making everyone sick.
I know, everybody's like nauseous now. Sorry about that, everybody. It is important, and it will streamline the process of purchasing a swim spa and an installation if you go through some of this stuff. All right, there we go. That looked pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. All right, so HOAs. HOAs are a whole different animal because they run under their own guidelines, and that's the scary part. You have people who are retired who have nothing better to do except put their nose in your business. All right. Brian asked, "What is your height?" Mary is 4'10". So these HOAs, some are great, some are less than great, and there's usually a rule. There's one HOA rule that is typically the shot between the eyes that cannot be overcome, because if you're within your setbacks and the HOA didn't prohibit something specifically stopping you from doing a swim spa, then they typically can't, okay? So they really are limited unless they have this particular rule. If they have a height rule in their rules and regulations that you signed when you bought into that HOA, and it says you can't have anything portable or otherwise that's taller than 37 inches, then unless you sink it in the ground, they got you, okay? So that's the one thing, that's like the shot between the eyes. When that happens, even the most, insanely wizard-like dealer can get you through that, okay? So, but HOAs are gonna be the same rules. And the other thing that we see a lot with HOAs, especially down south, you have bird cages, the big enclosure. If you're inside your enclosure, they can't say anything. You're not really in their rules. So we have had plenty of people, we used to spend a lot of time in Florida. We had lots of people who didn't have a bird cage, but they were in an HOA. The HOA said, no, you can't do that. And then they put the swim spa in and did a bird cage around it. Poof, done. Okay, you win. So really what it is just understanding what they're looking for and understanding what they need so that they can say yes to you. All right, they don't care whether you put this in or do or don't. They might enjoy saying no, especially like in New Jersey or where else, Westchester County, New York. They love to say no more than anyone we've ever seen. Even to themselves, they say no to absolutely everything. And then we have to kind of manipulate them through, okay? So it's kind of interesting, but lot coverage, setbacks, check all that stuff, all right? And then the big question is who you're working with. Do they have all the documentation that you need so that inspector can say, yes, I'm covered here? Because that's really all that's happening.
I was just going to say, they really just want to have, to
COA,
check off their
yeah.
checklist.
CYA.
Yeah.
Cover your backside. All right, so that's all they're really doing. If you give them everything they need so that they're covered, they'll say yes. That's all they're looking for, okay? So that's the horrible, boring part of this. I know there's probably a million questions in there that we'll be answering afterwards regarding all that stuff. And sadly, I never intended on knowing any of that ever. And in the last 3 months, I've spent so much time.
The questions that people have come up with lately, it's just been unbelievable. Things that we've never had.
Yeah. And we've been doing this a long time.
And we've been able to, for the most part, find the answers and get people what they need.
Yep.
So it's been a process, but we've really been able to do that.
Yeah. And then on top of that, sadly, everyone knows that we're getting good at this, so then they just call us. So that's that. Okay, question time. So I missed this probably a million. Jeff Anderson.
I don't think we missed too much.
Okay. All right. We have lots of questions. Are your fingers dry?
Yes.
Lots of questions today, which is not really surprising given how many swim spas have been being ordered
Right.
as of late. It's been nuts. If you have a question, Ed Grant, what's up, buddy? All right. You want to go first?
Sure. I have a question from Catherine in Indiana. I'd like to have an indoor installation for a new build. I read that wrong, but that's okay. Is it possible to install the swim spa 1 foot away from a wall? So I'm not sure if you can see, but our swim spa is probably about 1 foot away from the wall here in our warehouse. As long as the panel behind me, which is where your hot tub seats are, that you have at least 2 to 3 feet of access to that one panel, then yes, you can have one of your long panels 1 foot away from a wall. The tricky part with an indoor installation, though, is you have to remember that these swim spas come in one piece. So you have to be able to get, a 15 by 8 by 5 foot box into wherever you're thinking of putting it inside. So unless it's a garage or a basement with a huge opening, or you're building around it, you just want to be able to think about that before you think about putting it inside somewhere.
You mean that's not going to fit through a door?
It's not going to fit through a door, even a big slider door.
Okay,
So,
the swim spa is not going to fit through the door. So all the people who are gonna ask that in the next 30 days, it won't fit through the door, it's massive, doesn't come apart.
Your turn.
All right, my question is Derek in Hawaii, which is awesome. Do I need a plumber or plumbing permit? Do I need an electrical permit going on cement slab in Hawaii? So no plumber, there's no plumbing, there's no external plumbing exiting the cabinet, and therefore there's no plumbing permit. Most places need an electrical permit, most just for the wire. Now here's the interesting part about that. If you are running a wire for a hot tub, a 240 line, or even a 110 line, and the hot tub's not there or swim spa is not there yet, all right, you actually don't need the swim spot to be there to run that permit and run that electrical wire, because what's being inspected is that line and the connection, not necessarily the swim spa itself. So this is legally portable and there's no technical permit required for it unless some town is just making you do a building permit because they want some money from you. Okay, so electrical permit, I'm gonna go with a strong yes in Hawaii. We have actually dealt with that. And then the slab, you could definitely come up with lot coverage in Hawaii, depending on where you are. For sure, there's always lava rock under there, and most people are putting it on cement anyway. All right, so the cement slab, if it's existing, the only permit you're gonna need is for the electrical wire. All right? All right, Mary, you're up.
This is from William in Maryland. We live in southern Maryland, and there are restrictions on pools in ground within 110 feet from the water line. Do your spas need to meet these requirements, or are they considered temporary since they can be removed? So just like Ben mentioned earlier in this live, these swim spas are considered portable because there is no plumbing lines exiting from it or entering. There is no plumbing involved at all. All of your components are self-contained, and it's just wired electrically. So they are totally portable, or as you suggested, temporary. They can be moved, so they do not follow anything like a pool. So again, we don't want to use that P word, so that you shouldn't need you shouldn't need to meet those same requirements. So hopefully that answered your question.
All right. There is a P in swim spa, but hopefully no P in your swim spa.
Doesn't start with a P.
All right, here we go. This is from Carla in Florida. I have an existing concrete patio placed by a previous owner. How do I know if it is sufficient for the weight of a swim spa? I already see that it has multiple fine cracks. What do I need to do to make sure the area is prepped appropriately? It appears under 4 inches thick. Okay, so that's a tough situation, actually, Carla. So here's what's gonna happen. Most people in this situation never even looked at it and just slapped the swim spa on it and went on their merry way. And I'm sure that somewhere in the world there has been an issue with that, but I have not experienced it or seen it personally in like 10 years. So I'd probably go with it myself. But here's what you need to understand. Here's the fine print. If you have cement under a swim spa, if you have easy pads, if you have pavers, no matter what you put underneath it, if that fails, you are responsible, and it's not necessarily covered under warranty. Okay, so what we have seen in the past is concrete has the highest likelihood of not failing, so it gives you the largest margin for error. Okay, so we're not saying that you have to do concrete necessarily, but if you have a concrete pad and it fails underneath the swim spa, it's not the swim spa's fault, technically. Okay, well, anyway you cut it. So no matter what you put underneath there, has to be done correctly. So that's the biggest thing. If you do a paver job correctly, they hold swim spas all day long. We've done a gazillion of them that way. So just, you need to understand that anything that fails, it's on you. So the text, if let's say money were not an object, okay, and it's not a financial thing, and you were just going to say, I need a guarantee. What you would have to do on that patio is literally cut it out, dig down, and put a 6-inch, or more reinforced, 6 inches all that it's called for, reinforced pad within that pad. That would be the guarantee if money were not an object. I don't believe that I would honestly do that. I actually think that I'd probably go for it. Okay, cement cracks all the time.
Could she potentially put easy pads on top of that? Would that be, or no? That wouldn't
She
work?
could. I'm not sure that it's necessary.
Yeah.
So but if you look in most garage floors, they usually have a crack.
Right.
Cement settles. Cement moves around a little bit. So it doesn't mean that it's not going to do its job of supporting underneath. And we have put, even though Master Spa says 6 inches of, reinforced cement is recommended underneath the swim spa, we have thousands of them that people put on an existing pad that was 4 inches thick, and they never had a problem, okay? That being said, if there is a problem, it's on you. That's not a very exciting answer, but that's the answer. All right, your turn.
This is from Garrett in California, and he asks, I have a flat backyard, but I do live on a hillside. Do I need a permit? So I don't think that the fact that you live on a hillside or have a flat backyard is indicative of whether or not you need a permit. It's going to go back to your setbacks and your lot coverage that Ben talked about earlier today.
She's right.
So that would be something that you need to, check your setbacks and check with your town about permitting. When you get a swim spa, you're going to need to make sure that you have a flat foundation like a concrete pad in place. And so even if you're on a hillside, I would think that would kind of cover that, making sure that you have a good foundation. But whether or not you need a permit, you'd have to check with your town on your setbacks and your lot coverage for that. So
She's right. All right. Trina in Texas. Here we go. Do I need to inform the HOA of my exact location of my swim spa along with any decks or covered patio that I may use? Will I need a permit? That's going to be probably a strong yes.
yeah.
Although I do know that some HOAs in Texas are much less kind of sticking their nose in your business than in lots of other places, especially the Northeast and Florida, which they all come from the Northeast. So I'm going to say you better check with them anyway to avoid any problems. You're always better off. And I'm also going to give a piece of advice here. Anyone who's shopping for a swim spa, do all this work first. So especially like right now, because like if it pops up and someone runs an event somewhere and you walk in and there's a swim spa on the floor and you can have that one and you don't have to wait 12 weeks and you don't have these answers, that's on you.
Yeah.
All right? Whoever's ready is going to get their swim spa. All right? So right now, the winner of this game is anyone who's got anything in stock. So do all this work ahead of time. Don't wait till you go shop on the swim spa. Swim spas are awesome. Everybody knows that. Find out these answers. All right? So on the HOA, I would let them know. I would at least check my bylaws and see what I was allowed to do. Grady, what's up, brother? And see what I was allowed to do, and you're more than likely going to need a permit, even if it's just for the electric. But I will say this, Texas is probably one of the places that's the smallest amount of in your business, all right, which is cool.
My question is from Jeff in Florida. Can swim spas be installed in ground? So with the swim spas, because they're self-contained and considered portable, you cannot backfill against it. So you need, if you want to put it in ground, you need to build what's called a vault for it, and that has to be wider and longer by 2 feet than on all sides than the swim spa, and it has to be reinforced, and it also needs to have drainage. So yes, technically you can put it in ground, but you have to have this reinforced, basically this reinforced pit in place before we can install a swim spa in the ground. So I hope that answers your question.
All right. We ready? We got no questions. We're good. Karen in Ohio. Where I want to put a swim spa, there is a phone wire too near. Can these things like this get moved? What kind of cost is involved? Have other pool owners done something like this before? See, the magic word there is pool. We're going to say you mean swim spa. So don't go to the town and say something like that, or they're going to put you in pool rules. All right, Karen. So if there's a phone line, I'm assuming you're talking about coming from a pole to where you want the swim spa. Anything can be moved. I mean, I can't really say what it's going to cost to have a phone wire moved. I would think phone wire work is far less expensive than, say, a full-on service for your house, an electrical wire. So I'm thinking a phone line should not be too much of a deterrent for you, and I'm sure lots of swim spa owners have moved lots of things to get them in the way. All right, but a phone wire should not really be that big of a deal. Okay.
That was my last one, so you've got one extra.
One more. All right. Bernadette, also from Texas. We just purchased a Trainer 12.
Awesome.
Congratulations. We are getting the cover with hydraulic lift. How high will the cover be off the ground in the lift? Should there be decking or only a step off inches tall, ? Inches tall to accommodate the cover?
I wasn't sure what that second part meant, but...
All right. So I'm going to try to read between the lines on this, and we just purchased Trainer 12. So if you have the hydraulic cover, I'm assuming you mean cover lifts, okay? And the hydraulic is the little assistant that's going to rock the cover up, okay? So what's going to happen is on the hydraulic type cover lifters, they don't drop down. So you can see some cover lifters go straight up and pivot right at the corner, and some pivot up and then drop down a little bit. So hydraulic ones don't drop down. They're suspended all the way up. So you're gonna have a quarter of the 12-foot span is gonna be sticking up above, and it's not gonna drop down at all. So I'm gonna go and say that you are going to have every bit of 3 feet sticking up above and nothing coming down with that type of lift. So it shouldn't affect your access to the panel on the hot tub seat end. That's where all of your goodies are. Right. In the Trainer 12. Everything's on the hot tub side. So I'm thinking with the hydraulic cover lifts, you're fine. And then
you could have the decking around it.
Right. So, and we've talked about this before, and I'm not exactly sure what you mean. If you want, you can send us a message and clarify if I didn't get this right. As far as building a deck around any swim spa, I like 18 to 24 inches of the swim spa sticking up, because you can sit your butt on the edge and then spin in, and it works awesome, okay? So we constantly hear people, I don't want the cover sticking up, it doesn't look pretty. But then if you get the one where it drops it way down, you're doing a lot of work to get it back in, okay? So the more you take the cover off, the more you have to physically put it back on. The hydraulics just pivot up. They're like the easiest, okay? And then you've got some other options out there that are actually just as easy with no hydraulic pistons involved either. So there's some really neat options out there. I like the standard cover, the standard UL listed safety cover, okay, that we have documentation for. See how I ran all that back into one? So that's important that you're going to see that again. All right. So if you're decking around it, leave 20 inches above. And on a hydraulic cover lift, it won't affect it at all. Right. And then what you can do is there's access underneath that deck for us to sneak in there and do some maintenance underneath in a crawl space. It's not the most ideal maintenance situation, but it's not the end of the world either, and it's definitely something we've done a million times before. Okay? So,
and that would just be, like you said, behind the hot tub seats. That right. Panel behind the hot tub seats.
Right. All right. That's it.
Awesome.
That's it. Who's got any questions? What do you got? Questions. Here we go. We are waiting on the balance 8 hot tub. Does the cover attach to the sides of the tub, or is it on a stand? I don't know if you got a cover lifter or which one you did get. What side of the hot tub is best to have the electrical enter the unit? Sean. So you can have, it can enter anywhere. We left plenty of room. So if the non-connection side is next to the house, you can run it on the inside of the cabinet. That's no problem at all. So whatever works better for you, you can enter anywhere. Let's see. Brian, someone wants to see the rowing. You want to row?
Oh, sure.
Challenger versus Trainer. There you go. Don't.
She's
gonna let it go and get me in the ear with it. Watch, I'll be crying and bleeding from my ears. She'll be laughing. Oh, it's not funny. So, all right. So let's see. H2X versus Challenger air versus no air. So it all depends what you're doing. The way I always explain this to people is on the H2X, which is the most popular swim spa in the world, by the way, the Trainer 15 Deep literally is the #1 most sold swim spa in the entire world. You can't swing a dead cat and not land on one where the people are just freaking nuts over it. It's amazing. So they're amazing. They are for recreation and swimming second, okay? They swim, that being said, I'm not saying they don't swim well. You don't need a tether in there. It's 2 pumps and it does have some air in there. The Challenger is swimming first, then recreation. The Challenger is what we're in, and it's gnarly, it's awesome. So the swim path in this is like, I gotta reach in between that wide.
Yeah.
All right, it's huge. 3 pumps, airless, and it's just absolutely fantastic for swimming. The current is nice. It does a 120 per 100. It's gorgeous. So just depends what your goal is. If your goal is pure recreation and a little bit of swimming, man, grab an H2X Trainer 15. You can't go wrong. If you're a swimmer or training triathlon, grab the Challenger because it's awesome, okay? And it really is. Could someone send me the 110? Okay, you got the wrong guy on that one. This is a swim spa live about HOAs and setbacks. That is super unrelated. Does the water have anything to do with the rowing resistance? No, it does not. Would it be pretty much the same if the spa was empty? It would be. Other than
It's resistance bands.
yeah, there are resistance bands on the rowing kit. You can see that there. Okay, so it would still be.
There's a little
Yeah,
bit
you're
of,
moving through the water.
the water and just like holding yourself in the water is a little
So
bit different.
Water is 700 times more dense than air, so anything moving through the water is going to add resistance. Have a Challenger 15D coming any day now. Is there a decoder to figure out what the swim speeds are? It's not really a decoder. You just got to do some work on it. All right. Remember, we're measuring water moving around in a giant box. We've done our best to come up with accurate speeds and capabilities, but you are definitely going to have a learning curve on there. You need to learn your machine. Okay. No one can really do that for you. So spend some time with it. Love it. You're going to be just
So awesome.
Absolutely in love with it. All right. We still have 70 people on there. We didn't bore them to death. We realized today's live was less exciting than sometimes, but this is stuff that really is helpful for your dealer who's trying to help you if you have this information ahead of time, and it will make the process of getting your swim spa installed so much easier if you have a good, strong understanding of all this less than exciting stuff.
And we've in the past few months have dealt with it so much that we just felt
Right.
it was really important to address.
Yeah, we've had more vaults being built than we've ever imagined. What if you are not competitive but want to swim more than a lounge? I'll have to go back. I'll circle back to that one. Okay, all right. So
Yeah.
I
So
gotta-
just a reminder that we are going to be doing every other week for Facebook Live now. And we will be doing Wednesdays at 4. So bring your questions, send your questions in, give us any ideas of things that you'd like us to address. And we'll be doing Master Spas Facebook Live with Ben and Mary on Wednesdays every other week. So we'll see you in 2 weeks from now.
all right.
Bye, guys.
So long.
Thank you.
Be good. See you 2 weeks.